Everyone who has a pet loves them as if they were a member of the family, but they also understand that pack dynamics can occasionally be rather complicated. Even though you may think you understand and know your pet well, do you really? Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. Two Labradors named Sadie and Bella have the most loving owner they could possibly ask for. Maureen Hatcher, a 62-year-old woman, has dedicated her entire life to the Labradors and views them as our offspring. However, she is rendered speechless at seeing the actions of her dogs against her. In the peaceful Florida suburb of St. John's, Jacksonville, every resident is acquainted with one another. Because of its modest size and the historically low crime rates in the region, no one has ever felt afraid of anything. They felt secure at all times. Two well-known Labradors in the area were Sadie and Bella. They were adored by everybody and everyone's favorite. Things aren't always what they seem to be, though. The adorable Labradors were about to pull a prank that would make the neighbors very uncomfortable. Since the Labradors were small, Maureen has cared for them and shown them nothing but affection. Hatcher, who is 62 years old, resides with Tyler, her grandson. However, Miss Hatcher was home alone on the day of this occurrence, and everything was about to change. It was a typical day, with Hatcher going about her business as usual. After feeding Sadie and Bella breakfast, she was preparing her own meal and waiting for the water to warm up for the ideal bath. She had no idea what was about to happen. Maureen's neighbor, Alexandria, had made the decision to change her routine that morning. She wanted to enjoy a cup of coffee and her garden view, taking a break from her daily routine. It was then that she became aware of something odd. However, Maureen's camera caught an unsettling image shortly after she had a bath. That was rather peculiar. The area was filled with strange and peculiar happenings, giving the impression that the day was ominous. There has never been a threat of any type to any of the St. John's people. It appeared ideal, with no houses having towering walls or fences to keep them safe. However, Alexandria felt today that perhaps her garden ought to have been fenced in. Alexandria was enjoying a cup of coffee as she felt the chill of December blow through her hair when she noticed two huge dogs racing into her garden. Although she was unable to identify the problem, she was undoubtedly afraid due to the dogs' agitated barking. Conversely, Maureen's camera captured Sadie and Bella leaving the home after they had started barking loudly inside. They could be seen on the video wildly dashing outdoors after opening the front door. It was Sadie and Bella who had arrived in Alexandria's garden and were howling loudly. On that particular day, I deviated from my usual routine, Alexandria said. I noticed Sadie outdoors while sipping coffee on the floor. The second dog started barking after that. Alexandria was afraid to walk into her garden because she couldn't figure out why the two dogs were acting in such an odd way. Since it appeared as though they were going to hurt her, she was quite terrified of them. They had come to her for assistance, but it was something more than she had ever dreamed of. After taking a deep breath, Alexandria made the decision to confront the dogs and find out what they were up to. She dropped her coffee cup and hurried downstairs, questioning every move she made and wondering if she would end up hurting herself or worse. The dogs began tugging Alexandria's pants as soon as she arrived at her garden, as though they were trying to escort her someplace. Alexandria recognized then that they were terrified too, and not that they were attempting to terrify her. They want for her to witness what they had witnessed, which was extraordinary. Alexandria made the decision to bring them back home after learning that they were Maureen's pets. However, she soon discovered that they were indeed running, just ahead of her, in the direction of their residence. Additionally, they followed each step with an eye to see if Alexandria was still with them. Alexandria rang the doorbell as soon as she arrived at Maureen's residence. The world was about to see a very odd narrative as all this was being captured on video. Conversely, Alexandria rang the bell many times, but nobody answered. The dog's barks became louder with each bell that Alexandria rung. She was terrified now, not knowing how everything could have gone so badly. She had strange ideas running through her head. What prevented Maureen from responding from the other end? When the person on the other side of the door remained silent, Alexandria began to have strange thoughts. What would happen if Maureen had been harmed by the dogs? What if Maureen had been harmed by someone else inside? Typically, under these circumstances, the initial response would be, Alexandria could scarcely see anything within the brightly lit room due to the complete darkness. She attempted to acclimate her eyes to the darkness as the drapes were pulled as well. Her heart was thumping loudly with panic as she saw what was inside the room. Alexandria entered the room and made her way to the bed. She was getting more and more afraid with every step. When Alexandria peered attentively, she realized that Maureen was laying in a heap on top of the bed. But she jumped in terror at whatever came next. With a low, quiet voice, Alexandria called out, "Maureen!" But there was no response. She then proceeded to alert her to her presence in the room by placing a touch on her shoulder. She recoiled in terror as soon as she felt her shoulder. There was no movement at all from Maureen. Alexandria let out a yell, and Maureen groaningly lifted her head slightly to plead for assistance. She was in anguish, and there was something wrong with her. She was making a great effort to speak, but her mouth was hanging open. Alexandria dialed 911 right away. She was aware that Maureen had a serious problem, and the only thing she could think of or do to assist Maureen on her own was to phone for assistance. She felt afraid. After looking into Maureen's condition, the physicians informed her that she couldn't breathe because her brain was oxygen-starved. Maureen might not have survived if there had been even a brief delay. After learning the truth, Alexandria realized she was incorrect and felt bad since she had believed Sadie and Bella were either attempting to attack her or Maureen, or had somehow harmed her. The dogs were going above and above to assist their owner. In a matter of minutes, St. Johns County Rescue came, and Sadie and Bella stayed at Maureen's side until she was carried away. They continued to cry and growl in agony even after that. Maureen would not be here in the world if it weren't for the dogs. Interventional neurologist Dr. Nima Amim Agha Brahim says, "When the brain is deprived of blood, cells die, and permanent brain injury can occur. Timing is everything." The dogs were also aware of the value of time. Maureen had been brought to the hospital, where she was receiving treatment, but her prognosis remained uncertain. One of the most important factors that can lead to a good outcome for patients in these situations is to get the blood vessel open quickly and successfully, Agha Brahim says. Doctors were able to effectively relocate a stent retriever from Maureen's leg femoral artery to her neck after discovering the blood clot that had caused her stroke. Being able to assist folks like Mrs. Hatcher is one of the proudest moments of our work, Dr. Agha Brahim says. The clot had been removed from Maureen's body by these surgeons at Beth Medical Center, Jacksonville, and she had even amazingly begun to regain her strength immediately following the procedure. She was well enough to be released from the hospital after just 3 days. Maureen owed Bella and Sadie her life. They had done something that no one could have ever imagined, going above and beyond what anybody could have ever imagined. Maureen couldn't have imagined where she would have gone in their absence. I'm fortunate. I don't have any after effects, and I credit Dr. Nima and the staff there for helping me, she says, while she is aware that her dogs made it possible for the doctor to address Alexandria's condition during surgery. Had it not been for my dogs going and getting my neighbor, I wouldn't be here today, she stated. My rights, I shouldn't be in this condition. I had a wonderful rescue in the neighborhood and the hospital. I had an angel across the way. I'm fortunate. The neighbors were all quite thrilled with Bella and Sadie's assistance to Maureen. I was eating the floor and couldn't move the next thing I knew. So I told my dogs, my girls, I need help, she remembers. I was asked, how did you train them to do that? By someone. I just told them, I didn't train them. Maureen chose to do something unique for the dogs to give them a sense of value because they had been more than simply devoted companions. There were presents under the tree, prime rib for dinner, and they were spoiled rotten, she joked. The tale of Maureen, Sadie, and Bella quickly gained popularity online, and many were enamored with the adorable dogs. One individual said, "Dogs are incredibly sensitive to human emotions. They can recognize even the tiniest sign of distress and provide assistance. That's a family to keep you secure and cherished, which makes me very glad that you have 2 amazing puppies." Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.